Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Ability Podcast with Damo Eddy. Thanks for listening. Hey man,
Hey,
what's going on?
nice. How you doing?
Good. First solo
it's
for
a little bit-
2024.
Yeah, a little bit weird sitting on this side of the desk.
It's a little different.
I don't even have my hat on, I just noticed.
No hat, even though it's cold.
My hat unshaven, you know.
Looking rogue.
Yep,
My man, how are you?
I'm alright.
Good.
A little bit sick of the cold weather. It's getting right into my old bones and I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm very puffer jacketed up most of the time at the moment.
Puffer jacketed up.
Yeah, that's my words. Them be my words.
When I'm at home, I'm genuinely parked right under our heater
Okay,
and that's where I stay
nice.
until I fall asleep.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
it's- you know,
My man, I got a couple of things I want to talk about today for the solo, but anything you want to throw in the hat straight off the bat?
just what a 6 months we've had.
It's been awesome. By the time this gets released, I don't know which podcast will be coming out next, but we this year haven't had a bad guest. Everyone has just
They've
been,
all brought their own specialised personality.
yeah, and their heart.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate everyone's vulnerability. Everyone's come on and has shared something of the heart, man.
I don't think Bill showed any vulnerability.
Oh, okay, good call. Bill Shorten he had his points, man.
But he was nice.
Yeah, no, nice and articulate.
He probably spent, double the amount of time with us that he was allocated.
I know. Just a little bit of a humble brag there from
Yeah.
us.
So, thanks,
He did
Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Peace, dude.
Hope you're still
Who was your highlight for the year so far?
Oh, it has to be James.
James?
Yep.
Yeah,
James,
nice. I mean, incredible, really. Like, what he's doing, what he's done. His dad wrapped it up for me by saying everything James's brother, so James's brother is, general population gentleman,
quote unquote, normal.
normal dude.
Yep.
Every milestone he's had in his development stages, James, who, if you haven't seen the podcast, Down syndrome gentleman, absolute legend. Every milestone James has also had
And made his own milestones.
and made his own milestones, even if a little later in life. And that for me really summarized, this guy's living the life.
That's it. And
So good.
if you haven't watched it, I'd really urge
Yeah.
everybody to watch it.
Oh.
More so than probably most of the ones we've done.
Yeah.
It was just, he was funny.
Yeah.
He was honest.
Yeah.
He was sometimes a little too brutally honest.
So much love in him, man. Like, love for family and stories and having a good time. Like, everything's about having a good time, and it's like, yeah, bro.
And if you haven't seen it, go watch the stripper part of
He does talk about a certain stripper, but we'll leave them, on the edge of our listeners' seats for
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
For me, biggest highlight, what I say, would be Mark Aston,
Yes.
because you grew up watching him on the news. I grew up young enough to not barely be watching him.
I must admit, I was a bit of a fanboy during that podcast.
Oh, I mean, when someone you see on TV all the time, it's like,
I grew up, I reckon, from about the age of 16 to 25, 30, watching him do all my sports reports on Channel 10,
oh, he was the man.
doing the play of the day on Sports Tonight.
Was he as big of a deal that I think he was? Like, he was the Channel 10 news guy for sports for a while, right?
Yeah, and he did it for a long time. And
He's iconic, his voice.
yeah, and he had a real comedic vibe about him as well, where he wasn't afraid to take the piss out of something or someone.
Yep.
And
Yep.
not worry about any backlash and just very quick-witted, and I love that part about him.
In our interview, because obviously having that sort of level of public status, obviously not immune to the issues of mental health and
But
addiction.
he was very real to us.
I just appreciated him sharing his struggles with addiction and mental health, and we often think about that, and then we think about some strange homeless person. Potentially, some people think like that, but the reality is it's doctors, health professionals, everyone and anyone. People on TV, people are affected by mental health and the consequences of really what Mark described as like him
Absolutely.
medicating to sort of
Yeah, you know,
function through that time.
we've had, you know, Mark, like you said, that lived an absolute high profile, high rolling type of lifestyle. And then on one of our other interviews where we interviewed Benji, you know, he showed the real dirty nitty gritty side of mental health where, you know, he's let down by the hospitals, he's let down by, you know, family, friends, the system, you know, all of that stuff. And to me it shows it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're at the top of the food chain or at the bottom, you still get impacted exactly the same.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, eh? What was I gonna ask you, my man? In regards to the podcast, been going for a while now.
Yeah, I think we're almost up to a year for us.
Yeah, a year. Had a little slow patch there to just as we're sorting out the next phase of going to video. But I guess why are you still doing it? What's, you know what I mean? Like, we've been doing this long. Why'd you get into it? Why are we doing it?
I think ultimately, you know, I've never been much of a public speaker.
Which is interestingly, have found hard to believe because you are a good public speaker. But I guess that comes with, have you had to also learn to be a good speaker?
Yeah, a lot of my issue is confidence.
Yep.
You know, I do sound a little bit different.
Okay.
I was always very well aware of that.
Okay, yep.
You know, I can't. If my boss asks me to make a cold call to someone, I freeze. I absolutely can't.
Oh, really?
Cannot do it.
So if I said to you, like, hey, man, I need you to do some follow-up calls today with some clients, for example, or like, can you call these people?
Unless I knew that they knew I was ringing.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'd met them previously.
Could just be a
If
little
I
bit.
had to ring Joe Blow and speak to him for the first time ever, not happening.
True.
If I can
Good.
order food on my phone instead of making a phone call,
Yeah.
I will.
Okay. Yep.
And it all just stems to PTSD about, you know, comments throughout my life about my
Oh,
voice.
shit.
You know,
Yeah. Experienced it through the years,
Oh,
eh?
shit, yeah.
Different
Absolutely.
people. Yeah, and didn't know that.
You know, I've
Yeah.
rung up and back in the day before the glory days of Menulog and all that,
Oh,
you
of
know,
course.
where I'd have to ring up and order a pizza and, you know, I'd have someone laughing at me on the other end of the phone,
All right.
thinking
What
I'm
the?
doing a prank call or whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
real.
so that, it gets into your head a bit.
Yeah, fair.
That's why whenever I start a job somewhere, I'm like, the first thing I always say is, do not expect me to make cold calls.
Which is interesting because, like, once you start talking, I get to know you. It's like I don't even notice.
Anybody that
like,
knows me doesn't
even think about it.
No, but for me, it's there.
Of course. Yeah.
You know, like anybody that's got a mark on their face or a, you know.
Oh yeah,
you
just
know.
something that you know makes you slightly different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for me, that is a big trigger. You know, so it's, yeah, if I was forced to make cold calls at a job, I would more than happily quit the job than make those calls.
Fair.
That's how much it plays me.
Others, yeah.
Yeah, so for
But
me,
then you've got a workaround though in place, so you can still do things.
yes,
Right.
yep. You know, I have to do, if I have to make calls or work, I generally send a text message first saying, hey, it's Damien from BCognitive. I need to give you a call in
Schedule a
15
call.
minutes. If that's okay, just reply yes or no.
Cool, man.
You know, and then I at least know that they're expecting me to call.
Yep.
They might not know what I sound like, but at least I know they're expecting.
Yep. So back to the confidence thing. Confidence was a big barrier for you to even do public speaking?
Yeah, but then at the same time, because it's in the public, they see me and already know I'm a little bit different.
Okay.
So then when I do start to speak, they're not really wrapped up in that
Oh, so it's easier than ordering a pizza in that sense.
because they can't see me.
Okay. It's because they can't see you, it's harder.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah.
what the hell is that?
Yeah,
You
okay.
know? Whereas up on the stage, like we did our Novita gig, you know, everyone could see who I was. Majority of them I'd spoken to before.
Yeah, yeah.
And now doing this, I'm not fazed by it at all.
Yeah. So why are you doing it? Why are you here hanging out with me, talking to people?
Well, number one, I like to talk.
Yeah, it's
as,
good.
You know,
It's good
you
fun.
and I both do.
It's good, man.
I like to show that people like myself can have a bit of fun, can do what, quote unquote normal people do. I just enjoy getting these stories out.
Yeah,
And
I
showing
agree.
that whether you're severely... Beyond Plan Managers help make your NDIS journey simple. With Beyond Plan Managers, you can experience personal, quick support from a dedicated team. No big call centers, no hassles. Beyond Plan Managers will handle the admin so you can focus on what's important. If you're looking for a seamless NDIS experience, click the link in the description and choose Beyond Plan Managers.
Unlock a seamless NDIS experience with Plan Partners. Say goodbye to paperwork hassles and hello to quick reimbursements and exclusive benefits. Our app and online dashboard make managing your NDIS funds easy, ensuring you maximize every dollar for the supports you need. Choose Plan Partners for expert advice, simplified fund management, and a focus on your goals. Click the link in the description to get started.
Really severely intellectually disabled, or you're just missing one leg, we all have a story to tell. Or like I said, if you're a high roller like Mark Aston was, he still had to go through so much stuff that you and I wouldn't even understand.
Oh, for sure. Being that much in the public must be a thing to get through. We have it come with its own challenges.
Yeah, and I guess ultimately I want to make a difference. I don't mean change the world. But just give people a platform, like the amount of
really advocate for stuff.
Yes.
And share stuff.
And the feedback we've received so far for James's podcast, that's making a difference. And
it is.
The one thing it's doing is making him feel like he's done something good.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like my background before NDIS was mental health.
Yeah.
So it's an area I'm very passionate about, and I've worked with people who have received recovery from addiction and, into more stable mental health. But I've met people as well who I guess have committed suicide, and I've been one of the last people to see them. And that's been something I've always been very passionate about, that space. And people say like, oh, you seem to know so much about this stuff. And I'm like, I don't feel that way. I feel like it's like anything, you get used to what you know.
And when you start to talk, it just comes out easier and easier.
Yeah. And that's been great. But when I got into the NDIS, one of the biggest things for me was like, I think from meeting you was that I really wanted to make an intentional effort in this sector to spend as much time as I can practically learning by listening to people, like meeting James, chatting with you, asking you questions about services.
And you still do.
I still do, because I think that's one of my greatest, that's one of the greatest strengths of people who are working in this space and doing so. It's just trying to ask people what works for them, what's best for them, and every day is a learning experience when I put that hat on. And doing the podcast has been an educational piece for me, but also
Absolutely.
I think the other thing that drives me to do it is just the exposure to the hope of what people can do, and like the breaking of potential loneliness and isolation for people with their problems. I think it's been, but hopefully, it's been a great impact. I think it could be a greater impact than we realise at times, the people that may be reached by it. James's story, Mark's story.
I had James's dad
many others
messaging me on the, 2 days after the episode was released, telling me how proud he was walking around. Like, you could see that James was, up on his tippy toes and really proud of how the video turned out.
For sure.
And, having all these people ring his dad saying, James, I saw you on YouTube. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and I don't want to give away too many names, but even having some of the parents on that have shared about being parents on the scheme. I know you can relate as a parent, you have kids on the scheme. Like, the anxiety that so many of our how Australian parents are feeling, parents are feeling full stop for their kids, is bigger than I initially realised, but then hearing it and the stories, you really start to really have a greater admiration
Absolutely.
for parents, even parents like yourself, man, as your kids
Yeah, and when you
needing
have parents
support.
that are quitting full-time jobs
Yeah.
just so they can stay at home and look after their child because they don't trust support workers, or they don't trust the system, or they don't trust people spending their child's NDIS funding, like, that's a big deal and that's a big problem.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. And obviously this podcast is about, for me, about sharing the good stuff as well, because we have had so much media, and rightly so, around the issues and the bad care and the fraud, and yeah, rightly so, but this podcast largely is education and about the stories that are amazing. Yeah, man. Like, I know you've had your ups and downs, but largely your NDIS experience has been somewhat good.
Yeah.
So,
It's
I mean, it should be that should be shared in light. I'm not saying legislation, laws, and processes shouldn't be better, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you've had a pretty good experience all in all, which is worth mentioning as well.
And, you know,
It's like it's only negative sometimes, which is shit to hear.
And I've had to fight and claw and, you know, crawl my way through the bullshit swamp that is the NDIS.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, no matter how bad it is, I still would be worse off if I didn't have it.
If you didn't have it,
Yes.
yeah. Still lots to go, man. But that's my reasons for doing it, dude.
Yeah, and I think for me as well, like, not once have I ever felt like you and I are like a token cripple and you're trying to be a good guy.
I was very conscious of that at the start.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
Like,
it does. Not only does it make
I've
sense,
never ever felt that though. Just
and
so
that's
you
cool.
know. Just so you know,
I'm glad you're saying that officially on camera in front of everyone.
he's actually holding a knife under the table.
But I was very aware to, like, conscious not come in and try and be some sort of like a
Knights and shine.
the
Here, Damo, I'm
able-bodied
going to
savior.
save you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not just for you, but just even for the sector, to not come in and be like, oh, I'm somebody who's here to, like, help, and then play that role of, like, it becomes more than like a saving role, and it's like, or a hero, or try and feel some unhealthy need in me to help others all the time, like,
Hero.
yeah,
What's the word?
complex, yeah, some
like,
deep-rooted
You're
narcissism.
trying to make me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
That's not the case, because
No.
I actually think you and I both make each other feel better about ourselves.
Oh, brother, as soon as I found out you were an Avengers fan, let's not talk about the new phase. It still needs a lot of work.
It does.
But we saw, like, the Thanos movies, and when we started talking, I was like, this guy's all right.
I'd
This guy
ring-
gets
I'd
life.
ring you up for a support coordination referral, and by the end
dude.
of the conversation, we'd be like, who were you talking about again?
Yeah, 100%. Like, have you seen the new trailer for the new Loki TV series? You know, oh man, so much fun.
You know, we're pushing 4 years now. Which is
Bro, the
amazing.
friendship runs deep. It's very cool, man.
Soon I'll have to meet your parents.
Dude, yeah, dinner with the family.
Yeah.
We're having Christmas
Hi,
together.
Mum, Dad, this is Damo.
Yeah.
He's my token cripple.
Yeah. Oh man, my family's heard all about you, man. They've seen the videos. It's fun. It's fun. My dude, I would love to learn from you today and even share, because my first role was starting as a support worker, but I don't think you can ever take your foot off the wheel of, like, refining that skill, learning that skill, and ever be like, oh, I'm a good support worker now. Like, there's always something with a new person, with a new situation, socially.
Every house
To
you
learn.
go in
Yeah.
is always going to be different.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that, get out.
Yeah, it must be hard sometimes. Like, if you had support workers, I want to hear your thoughts on how to find a good support worker, and, like, has there ever been hard spots where, like, I don't know, what has that journey been like for you?
Yeah, no, I've honestly, I've had to change agencies before because their level of support worker, or the fact they just say, we've got no one that can look after your complexity of care, you know. I'm like, well, how? It's, and, you know, there are so many good support workers out there. So many. I'd like to think there's more
My
good
man,
ones.
yeah.
I'd like to think there's more good ones than bad ones.
Yeah,
And
dude.
I've happily had a lot of the good ones.
And those who are ignorant and a bit obnoxious, it's like, dude, hats off to new migrants that are like here and just humbly happy to serve and help. And
Yeah.
man, like, it's like, we're a migrant country.
Yes.
And like, dude, whether you're a migrant or just some young dude studying, like, hats off to doing support work. I think it's a great.
Absolutely.
It's not and that's the thing people got to remember. It's not necessarily support work. It's a forever.
My only issue with the immigrant support workers is I just need them to. I don't even care if they don't speak that great English.
Okay, and you know that's important to some
I
people.
need them to understand it.
Okay,
Because if I'm giving directions, I need to know that they've
understood.
understood.
And that's not just true for migrants,
heard me.
new migrants. That's true
I've
to
had-
everyone, man.
I've had 100% white Aussie people have no idea what I've just said.
Yeah, and they've also rocked up to your house a little bit intoxicated before.
I've had support workers that are going out for tea and they're already drunk when they show
It's crazy.
up. I've had support workers that have been very heavy on the chest side of things,
Okay,
You
yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I follow you.
where they're busting out of their tops. And,
Yep.
You know, I'm like, hi, do you want to meet my wife and kids? You know,
Yeah, I get it. It's like lots of like different workplace ideas of what should be expected in a workplace, right?
yeah, and I don't expect shirt and jeans and, you know, everything all tucked away and neat and tidy. But just have a little bit of respect for where you're going into, because it's not your house.
Well, some people are rocking up to support work without any training.
And you
That's
know,
a common thread in the
as far
sector.
as female support workers go, you know, I've got a 17-year-old daughter that's very, very.
17-year-olds are
17.
susceptible.
She's 17. So if I've got people rocking up wearing next to nothing and their chest hanging out and all that sort of stuff,
Sure.
what messages is that sending my daughter?
Yeah. My man, I can't. Yeah, couldn't even relate.
And
I don't even
then
know.
add to the fact that I am a married man. I don't need your chest in my face. You know.
Yeah, I
So,
hear
I,
you.
so I've got to have, you know, a shower with that happening while I know my wife is out
Okay,
there.
so they're coming in for personal care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
all I have is personal care support.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Community access all on your own, eh?
I just do that
Yeah,
myself.
no shit. Yeah, cool. So, what would be like your top 5 things you would recommend for looking for supports? What are your things?
I like people that have, you know, let's say you were coming to work at my house. I would want you to have at least 2 years experience
Okay.
of being a support worker.
Not always possible, but I hear you.
No, but
I'm just being a stickler for the sake of being a
But
stickler.
if you wanted to work in my house,
Yeah,
these would
that's
be
what you're
my
after.
3 or 4 sort of.
Okay, for you want 2 years
starting-
experience. Yep.
At least 2 years experience.
Yep.
I don't give a crap if you've got aged care experience or not.
Yep.
Because sometimes that can be a bit of a thorn in the side anyway.
Yeah.
I'd like to know that you have worked with high-level disabled people,
Because of your specific needs.
not just taking people out for coffee and the
Sure,
movies and
sure.
bowling and.
Let's go to yeah.
If
I
you could
guess
do all
so.
that, I could do that. I could be a support worker
Yeah.
and take people out bowling.
Yeah,
But
literally.
I'm
Could.
not going to go into someone's house and give them a shower.
Yeah. You need to know somebody has experience with care. You want someone that's been doing
Actual
personal care. Someone with experience. Personal care, somebody who's had 2 years experience. Those are 2 big requisites for you.
Yeah. I've had some over the years come in and, you know, shower me, and I'm like, you know, being a man, I'm like, you've got to wash down there, you know,
Oh yeah, of course.
and
I see this.
I can't do it.
yeah.
And they're like, I got to do that.
Oh, they've said that during the personal care.
Yeah.
Oh no shit. So you're like, you know, you're just being straight up. That's the level of personal care you need.
I need full support.
Full
to wash
support with that.
everything.
So you've got somebody coming in to do that.
The only thing I can do in my shower is brush my teeth.
Yep. So,
That's it.
so if somebody's helping with that level of care, it makes sense why you would say you need someone dressed appropriately. You need someone who's got experience.
Yes.
You're literally sort of like your life is in their hands.
Not just-
They're like physically holding
Yeah.
you in place, right?
Not just support worker experience, but actual disability experience.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
And I know you've had some spinal cord surgeries
I've
before
had
as well.
neck surgery when I was a kid.
Mate,
You
you
know,
need,
so
need it to be...
I'm very fussy on what type of physios I have in my house.
Yeah, and you need to manage your pain
Yep.
at all times.
I'm not on any meds at all, but
True.
I'm in pain all
Still
the
in
time.
pain,
I just
yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah, man. So 2 years experience, personal care, actual personal care experience.
I'd just
What
like
else?
to know that they work in home
Yep.
with, personal care experience.
Nice. What else?
They're probably the
They're
main
probably
two.
your main two. And maybe just like that they clearly understand you.
Yes.
You said that earlier, like that they might not have to have perfect English, but as long as they can understand your English
Yep. I've
really
had
well.
them
So when you've
times.
said, I need you to help me move this way without moving my neck, I'm just making a hypothetical.
Or, hang on, my foot is actually stuck under me at the moment.
You need them to be able to
Before
say,
you move my hips, I need you to move my foot, or you're going to break my foot. So
yeah.
I need them to understand those
Yeah, you
types
don't just want to be yelling at people.
BHA is redefining disability supports with a focus on human rights. BHA is committed to providing education and accreditation by using our lived experience to enhance the lives of people with disabilities through a human rights-based approach. Our team of dedicated practitioners aims to transform the sector by elevating human rights as a benchmark. So join BHA in creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Click the link to learn more about our mission and how you can be a part of it.
Tibby is reshaping disability supports by using the human rights model. We believe in delivering support with you, not just for you. Join Tibby, where everyone's unique humanity is valued and supported. Contact Tibby for all your disability support services and click the link to find out how we can make a difference together. Which I'm sure you've had a moment or two before. You've been like, oi.
I don't yell, I get frustrated.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
when they've done it for a while and they keep...
Sure.
making this,
Same mistake. Yeah, no joke. I think one of the big things for me that I think, and this is a big thing I think people need to understand sometimes, like supports aren't always forever.
No.
Like support workers or support worker providers can sometimes just be for a season. And people need to sort of, I
had
think,
plenty of
understand
those.
that.
Yeah.
I think another one for me that's really important is,
But, sorry, just in saying that,
yeah.
one of my support workers we've had for 17 years.
I remember you saying.
Like, she was there before our kids are even conceived. I introduced her to people as my
Mate.
second wife.
I get it, like that's how, like she's like your cousin or something, like she's that close in your family, right?
No, she's not even related.
No, but I know that's how you might even think of her as
Our
like a,
kids call her Auntie Michelle.
yeah.
She was there before they were even conceived.
Wow. And I've got a client who I've seen who has community access,
Yep.
an elderly gentleman, and they've had the same support worker, like this lady, she's like a cousin or an auntie, a family.
Yep.
That's not always the case, but it does happen, it can happen.
It happens, and it's great when it happens because no matter what, I know I've at least got one.
Yeah.
One of the other rules I also have, just going back to that,
Yeah,
is
please.
I do not meet. If the support agency calls me up and says, hey, Damien, so-and-so's unable to make it tonight, but we've got this lovely gentleman, blah, 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 or lovely lady, whatever. I'm like, no, sorry. I don't allow any new support workers in without meeting them first.
So what, you rather wait a day?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And without having them do at least 3 shadow shifts.
So then what, you sometimes have to wait, how many days do you have personal care, can I
I
ask?
have personal care twice a day, every day.
Twice a day, every day.
Yep.
So if it's a Friday night and they're like, can't get someone there, then you say, well, Saturday morning, you need somebody to be, is Saturday morning covered?
9 times out of 10, they generally find someone.
They find someone
They find someone I've had before.
you've had before. And then you go, oh, I remember such and such who covered that shift that time.
I'll be like, okay, that's fine.
Cool.
Because I know at the end of the day, I need the help.
Yeah, but you put some boundary in place, right?
I do, because in my house, it's not just about me.
Your kids.
I've got an autistic child that hates change without being told.
Sure.
You know, I have a child that's 3/4 completely deaf that,
You got a young adult, your daughter.
yeah. So I
17.
need to know who's going to be coming in. And,
Sure, man. Yeah.
Um,
Reasonable
and then
stuff.
I have my wife that I obviously have to consider,
Mm.
you know, because she has a routine and, you know, her motherly routine at night.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah.
she needs to know that whoever's coming in is okay to do what they need to do for that shift.
For sure. For sure. I think one of the things that I think is important for shifts, and it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on, is, and it's delicate balance, but finding the balance between being a good support worker and not becoming people's friends.
And that happens a lot. But that
And also, it's not black and white. There's a fine line there of when you have to learn to say yes or no. And even for me, you know, there were lines where, as a support worker, you push to a point so you can build a rapport. This is more community access mentoring.
Yeah.
But then there's a certain line where you go, well, that's cool. I'm here to mentor or support or do life with you as we build your capacity. But then when they go, oh, like, when do you finish your shift? I know you're going to the gym. Can I go with you? And I go, hey, that's my me time, you know. And delicately learning to be kind but be fair with people is important.
It works the other way as well, though. I've had support workers over the years deliberately try to befriend me more than just as a support worker.
Oh, so because I've had it with the clients.
No, I've
like,
had it
hey,
the other way around. Because they know if they get in and they get on my good side and, you know, they start, we become more buddy-buddy than support worker.
well, then they'll get more shifts with you. Is
They
that what
get
they?
more shifts. I start throwing more shifts at them.
And do you feel that with them, where they're like, oh, you're like, dude, this guy's trying to befriend me for his own motive or her own motive,
Yeah.
and it's a bit too
I've
strong,
had it from both sides, male and female.
where they're just like, damn, you're the best, man. Love
Yeah,
love working with you. You got great
love your family,
kids.
I love your wife. And,
Yeah, I'm
you
free
know,
Thursdays.
But they're the first person to throw anyone under the bus.
Oh, so you find they're also the quickest to pull out as well?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
There's almost like a desperation, like I need the shifts now.
Yep.
Is that
But
the
the
vibe?
minute shit might get a little bit out of their hands.
Or like inconvenient for
Yep.
them?
Yep. Or, you know, I don't, just in any case, really. Like, it's
So people need to not overpromise as well, right?
no, just,
Is that what it is?
no,
Is it?
just be themselves and don't force the situation.
Yeah,
If you're good at what you do,
No joke.
like if you're good at what you do naturally, and I pick up on that, I'll give you more shifts.
It'll just happen.
You don't have to try and suddenly be my best friend.
But that's true, I think, largely for our human experience, isn't it?
Yes.
If you're a good electrician or you're a good support worker, whatever it is, like
wanna hang
to
on
a
to it.
degree, word of mouth and experience
Yep.
can reign
I
supreme.
mean, we have our own, like you just said about electrician. We have our electrician guy that we always call
Yeah,
because he's nice and he does a good job.
yeah.
We have
Love
the
it.
same guy that comes twice a year to turn our aircon on and turn it off at night at the end of the year.
Yep.
You know, all that sort of stuff. You know, we all have our preferred services, and that is exactly the same as support workers. We always have one that is better than the rest.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, man. That's like really good to think about. And like everyone's going to have their own preferences.
Yes.
Like your preferences are going to be different to mine. Just like, you know, my mum has been navigating with myself, finding support workers for my dad
Yep.
and for my grandma. My mum's amazing at it, and I help her out with little bits here and there. But finding good matches takes time. Finding people who know what individuals need takes time. You know. Yeah, it's a spin, man. I'm just trying to think if there's anything more. I think people should get, like, if people aren't sure what they want to do and people care about people and are willing to learn and are flexible and emotionally intelligent, because I think it takes a level of emotional intelligence to walk into someone's home. I think it's a great job to try, whether you're studying at uni or looking to pick up a few hours or looking to retire and you know, want to work part-time.
And the best thing any support
Great work, man.
Absolutely, and the best thing any support worker can do is go straight into in-home support.
You reckon support workers should do in-home support
If
first?
they can survive that,
What do you mean by in-home support, like personal care?
no, like with me, people like myself that need help with eating breakfast, showering.
Well, you think that's where people should start first?
Absolutely.
And why is that, you reckon?
Because it's easy to take someone out for a coffee.
Everyone wants the coffee shift, right?
Because it's,
Not everyone, but there's a lot of people out there.
come on.
I know of a guy, I won't say his name, there's a guy I know who likes doing this shift, right? It's not his, not a business we know. It's a common story. But he's like, takes this guy I know out for coffee on his shift, takes him to get a haircut.
Yep.
And then he just takes him like the long way back to his house, thinking he knows what he's doing. He takes the long way back to his house to get the shift up to 3 hours. And it's like, bro, it's such an easy shift, man. You're taking it too far now.
As a consumer of the NDIS,
It's an easy shift, man.
I get really, really, really irked. I'm going to use that word instead of swearing.
Yeah.
I get really irked when I'm at the shops as a disabled person,
Yeah.
as an independent disabled person,
Yeah.
whether I've gone there with my wife or via bus and train and tram,
Yeah.
and then I go past, a person that's clearly there on day options,
Yeah.
and I go past and the support worker's having a coffee, scrolling TikTok on their phone,
Yeah.
and then 3 hours later when my movie's finished,
They're still
I
there.
come out and the person that is the participant is getting increasingly frustrated
Really?
but unable to verbalize it. They might be twitching around in their chair or, making noises or, basically tweaking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it annoys me so much.
And I don't want to throw the support worker under the bridge here either. That isn't always a support worker's fault.
No,
Sometimes
they're not guided in the right
they're
direction.
not guided in the right
They're not
direction.
told what to
Sometimes the support worker is like, dude, I don't, I'm out of here in 30 minutes and like I'm getting paid and it's, but sometimes there is like, as a family member or as a client, you should want more from a care plan. A care plan, goals,
It is ultimately.
not just the risk, but what you're working towards in that shift.
It is ultimately up to the agency
Hmm.
to tell their support workers what a 4-hour social and community shift should look like, instead of just saying, take them to the shops, do whatever you need to do.
100%. It needs a care plan, and that's a question to ask providers when you're looking around.
Yes.
What do your care plans look like? Can you send me the template even, I think is reasonable.
Can you send me his goals?
Yeah.
Can you send me, if not,
How do
as
you
a-
review his
as a support
shifts?
worker, you speak to the client's family. Say,
Yeah.
what's he into? Model trains. Okay, cool, I'll take him to a train shop.
Yeah, and,
You know,
and do something.
do something besides sitting there scrolling your phone
Yeah,
while you're having your third coffee.
yeah. What was I going to say, man? There's,
I can feel the hate emails coming already for
no, I love it. It's good. It's good.
Um,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. I guess, I am opinionated, but I feel like I'm allowed to be because I am in the middle of it. And I've seen it
I
all,
think
I've
you're
done
not
it
that
all.
opinionated. I think there's unfortunately been some pretty graphic footage released regarding this stuff, and it's incredibly serious what could go wrong for some people. And the education and the whole space has to change. And
It does.
whilst people are advocating for self-management, I'm not opposed to it. There still needs to be a bit more, I think, of a barrier to entry for people to just become a support worker
Yeah, absolutely.
than just being able to do it with such ease. I know you're an advocate for that as well.
And as you know, I've, one of my little side hustles
Yeah.
is, hopefully approaching support agencies, and going in there, talking to them about my journey and as a consumer what I would expect from them if they were delivering me a service, but also getting involved in when they do induction days for new support workers, all that
Yeah,
sort of stuff.
it's like, you have a voice and you have an experience that's unique, and the theory comes alive, I think, when someone like you is able to share.
And in saying that,
Your
am I always
story?
right? No.
Yeah.
Very, much wrong half the time. But what I am right is with my own lived
Well, you're
experience.
experiencing it.
My experience.
You're experiencing it.
My experience compared to you or your dad's or your brother or
That's
your
right.
uncle's experience are obviously going to be different.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean yours are right or wrong or I'm right or wrong.
No, man. I know we've touched on some of the good stories, having like supports and stuff, and
Yep.
we could talk about some of the other quirky experiences. But have you ever had like a really funny experience that's happened with any of your support workers? Like any really weird, quirky, not necessarily like a horror story, but just something that's happened that's just like you look back on and just laugh as scenarios? Because you've had support your whole life, but you know, might as well ask from the man who's experienced it.
No. I've had some, show up a little bit intoxicated and,
Yeah.
because they've either been out or they're on their way
Yep.
out and, they're just swinging by because I need the toilet or whatever.
Yep.
I've
I've had some quirky lived experience once.
obviously, mentioned the ones where the girls show up and the boobs are out over
And you're
the
like,
top. And
yeah, I need to do personal care. Like,
Put it
yeah, this
away.
is a bit much for
Yeah.
me. I'm
It's
just,
like, hi, have you met my wife?
yeah,
If I wasn't married and all that, would I care? No. I'm
Yeah.
a hot-blooded male. But,
yeah.
tone it down.
I think the lived experience guys and girls I've worked with, particularly the guys that I've met that want to come in and do support work that I've worked with, they're passionate, but it's like there's a space for it, and it's very important. It's very important to have people with experience like yourself, or somebody who's had a history of mental health or addiction, working, I think, in the space to educate and support and inspire. But sometimes they've got to just sometimes it feels like they just want to just want to take on the world sometimes.
They do.
And it's like, and they've got so much passion, but it's like you need to breathe, just finish
Yeah, and
do you know what I mean? Like they come in with a lot of zeal.
a lot of
Like
gusto.
I'm really I want to get into it, and it's like I've met those, and it's like,
I've had
dude,
support workers that do that and they burn out in
yeah,
6
and they want
months.
to help the world and do this and that, and it's like
And some advice for any
don't,
support workers out
yeah,
there. When you start your job, you will be used and abused by every single agency out there.
yeah, I got plenty to say there.
Okay?
In what sense do you mean? Do you mean like they're going to try and put you in any and every shift?
Yes, because at the moment, you're saying yes. Because right now, you want to take over the world and make a change. And make everybody's lives better. Right? So when they ring you up and say, hey, I've got a shift for you tomorrow, most new support workers generally say, yep, sure. Then after 3 months, yep, sure. Yep, sure. And then they either burn out and leave, or the minute that support worker starts saying, do you know what? No, I've hit my quota. I don't want any more. Then they stop getting those calls at all.
I second what you're saying, and would say as a support worker, I think you're awesome and you're getting out there helping people. But I think before you even go into that interview, whatever you're willing to give, whether it's 3 hours, 4 days a week, for me, I would even dial it back a little bit. So like go into the meeting telling them what you can do.
Yep.
Even if it's just specific days, because I know for a fact you'll get bombarded with text messages and those phone calls saying, can you cover, can you cover, can you cover? And unless you just keep saying no and say, no, I'm only available the Tuesday afternoon,
Just say,
Wednesdays
"Look,
and
it's in my
Thursdays.
job interview form. I'm only available for these days. Stick to that.
Stick to that.
Because the minute you start
They
saying
will-
yes,
They
will
could take
throw
advantage
it
of you.
at Yep.
Yep.
And that's nearly
That's just human nature. There's somebody else sitting behind a desk with a roster of shifts to fill, with feeling the pressure of
and
that.
that roster.
And they don't mean anything by it.
And the roster doesn't know you from a bar of soap.
And they don't mean any wrong by it.
No, but it happens in every company.
I think going with realistic expectations, you're not gonna love or need to love everyone you offer supports for.
No.
Get along with them, but not like as if everyone's gonna look up to you or feel like you're gonna be mates forever, or that it's some amazing, some people you're just gonna help them.
Yeah, it's
and
never
that's
gonna
it.
be a brotherhood for
Yeah,
life.
that's right. It's not. You got to manage those expectations. And there's some people you're going to meet, and they're never going to want to hear from you again. It's fine. there's plenty of
And
work
I've
out there
had
if you're
that
doing the right
with-
thing.
You know, I think our track record's pretty good at home.
Oh, your place?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, we're having good over bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are the ones that have done, you know, work there for a few weeks and then I get a call the next day and the agency's just like, oh, yeah, no, that's not for them. They don't want to be there anymore. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Because as good as you think you are as a support worker, every single one of you are replaceable.
We all are, right? You know, we all are, and you know, it's
It's the nature of the beast.
yeah. Hopefully that's helped some people. I'm trying to think, are there any more tips for people who want to be support workers? Knowing your shifts, I think, is a big one. That's
Knowing your strengths,
yep.
knowing your limits on how much work you want to do.
Yep. Balancing that professionalism while in people's homes.
Knowing the field of support work you want to be in.
Yeah.
Like if you're dead set just going to be a coffee person at the coffee shop kind of carer, go for it. But stick to that. But if you want to be an in-home support worker, you know, helping me have a shower, understanding that I can't do any of it, helping me make my breakfast, you know, then awesome. Stick to that.
People can do a little bit of both, I guess, right?
Yep.
But they can't do everything you're saying.
You know, one thing I love to say is, you know, it's all well and good for you as a support worker to say, hey, Damo, I'm going to pick you up at 10. We're going to Arndale. We're having coffee and lunch and, you know, whatever else. And then I'll have you home by 2, right? That's all well and good. But who's getting me out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, so what you're saying is like people need to be considerate of that, of the real needs you
No,
have.
without decent... Caleb,
Hey Caleb. Hey dude, one of the lights just turned off. Just so you know.
both of them.
They both turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not crazy.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's back. That's fair enough.
All good, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Just wait for the
Wait for the
shadow
bird to
of the
crow.
moon going past the camera.
How much you...
We're doing
You've
well.
done 45 minutes.
We'll finish in 2 to 5 minutes.
Yep.
Damien's got a couple last thoughts and we'll finish.
I'll figure it out.
Sweet, go for it, man.
Sorry, I gotta just message my cabbie. What I was saying was, it's all well and good for you to be able to take me out for coffee
Yeah.
and shops and do whatever we do,
Yeah.
but for that to happen, I also need a support worker to come in, get me out of bed, shower me, help me do my teeth, dress me, get me in my chair, help me eat my breakfast, help me take any meds I need to take, make sure that the small house duties that I've asked to be done are done.
So what's your point for the support worker who's taking you out for coffee? What's your takeaway for them?
The coffee doesn't happen unless I get out of bed.
So you're saying when they rock up at your house, they need to be coming with the mindset of being considerate to that?
Yeah,
And
and
understanding
the
what it
agency
takes you
needs to
every
be-
day to get ready?
Yes, it takes me 2 hours every morning to get ready. So I need, as good as you are at taking me out for coffee, I need someone that's just as good at personal care to make sure I get out of bed.
For sure.
Does that make sense?
I think it makes sense that like, and it's not just taking people out for coffee. Some people have genuinely like, they want to go out and do a project and do things. I know you're not just saying coffee. It's like people who are going out to do something for their day, right?
Yes.
Run errands and do life admin or, you know, see a social worker, see a movie, do whatever, but, or whatever they want to do with their day. But what you're really saying is like people going in to do community access need to kind of be aware of the whole person.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't just miraculously end up in
Yeah, you don't just like do this crazy roll out of bed and like pop into your seat. Yeah, I mean, as cool as that
You
would
know,
look. Wallace and Gromit did that, wasn't it?
Yeah, or you know, we've
Remember in the morning he'd get up and like all of his clothes would robotically jump on him?
didn't Mr. Bean do something like that?
It was Wallace and Gromit, the Play-Doh. Is the
Yeah,
Play-Doh dog and the guy, the
Yeah,
English?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he would roll
you know,
out of
like-
bed and that doesn't happen for you?
My alarm clock music is not Mission Impossible.
Okay.
You know, do, and then I calmly crawl out of bed, crawl up into my
Yeah,
chair,
yeah. Do a backflip and jump in your seat. Like,
stand in the shower in my electrical chair, you know.
doesn't happen with a
Never.
a drone arm.
No. So
Doing-
I guess what I'm saying is all the good shit that happens in the
Yeah,
day
yeah.
doesn't
Be
happen
mindful.
without good support workers getting me out of bed.
Yeah, and respect to those good support workers out there making it happen, man.
Yeah. And there are more good support workers than bad.
Lots of them
But
out there, man.
unfortunately, like anything, it's the bad apples that get the
Yeah.
spotlight.
Yeah. I got lots to say about that, but we've stuck to the positive, man, and it's really cool hearing your thoughts on what it's been like having a life of care. Like, you've had a lot, like, you're not that old. Like, you're only 86 or something. No, what are you, like, 42?
46.
46.
86, really?
No, you're 46. But you've had 46 years of experiencing care. So, like, for you to just summarize in a moment the most important things to you is, like, everyone, I think that's really cool, man. And it's a massive learning for me. And it's cool for other people who get supports to really think about, like, what is it you want to get out of this? Try and articulate what you want.
There's
Because
so
your
much
needs
more.
are going to be different to yours.
And there's so much more I could probably talk about.
Oh, for sure.
But
Those are the top ones.
they're the major dot points.
Love it.
There's so much more.
Love it.
Eddie?
We got to go, man.
Yep.
Always good hanging.
Almost beer o'clock.
I'll be back for the next one. You coming
sure?
back?
Maybe.
All right, sweet.
Hang on. Depends who the next one is.
If it's just you or me, man, I'll still come, all right?
Oh, thanks, darling.
Sweet, bro.
Alright,
See you, man.
Bye.
Bye.